ब्रह्मणे नमः। ॐ महेश्वराय नमः। ॐ विष्णवे नमः। ॐ ताण्डवे नमः। ॐ भरताय नमः। ॐ अभिनवगुप्तपादाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ प्रणम्य शिरसा देवो पितामहमहेश्वरो नाट्यशास्त्रं प्रवक्ष्यामि ब्रह्मणा यदुदाहृतम्।
उत्प्लुत्य चरणौ कार्यावग्रत स्वस्तिकस्थितौ सन्नतौ च तथा हस्तौ सन्नतं तदुदाहृतम्।
Through a jump, leap forward and cross the foot in front with Sannata hands for the movement called Sannatam. So Abhinavagupta says that Harinaplutachari must be performed, followed by the cross of the shanks, and Sannata and Dola Hastas can be used.
Charyo plutya agradeshe padam swastikam kuryat sannatau cha dola hastau. That's all he gives.
Yeah, the Tanjavur figure here has the cross of the shanks with the right palm placed on the left. The Chidambaram figure has the right foot crossed as Kunchita in front from the Mandalasthana. Kunchita. The Kumbakonam figure has the right leg as Vrishchika with the hands on the left side with the root of the palms touching each other. So we have two interpretations here based on these sculptures. So first one will be Harinaplutachari,
Yes.
performed with Dola Hasta followed by landing the feet with the cross of the shank and Samputa Hasta. Dhalan Kutta. Dhalan Kutta. So this is the first interpretation. So Harinaplutachari is performed with Dola Hasta and then
Dola
Samputa.
and Samputa.
And for the next one, Vrishchika is performed
Vrishchika
and then leg is brought to the front. And the hands again we make it's Nalini, Padma Kosha and then Samputa. That's the hand.
For this type of from Nalini to this Samputa, where the indication
The sculpture is there.
The Kumbakonam sculpture shows the Nalini Padma Kosha.
And Abhinavagupta says Samputa must be there.
Yes.
Samputa
Sannatam.
has to be. So from here, instead of just clapping it like that, you take it as Nalini Padma Kosha
And then finish in
finish it.
Samputa. So that
So I connect the commentary, the sculpture of Kumbakonam, and Chidambaram you finish there in Mandalasthana. If you have Vrishchika, you end it with this. Or if you follow Tanjavur, Harinapluta and this.
So with Vrishchika, the movement will be
If it is Vrishchika, you have to end it. You
in
will
Mandala.
end only in Mandala.
Yes, certainly.
If it is
Harinapluta,
Harinapluta,
it is in Sama.
so forward leap, then
Yes.
it becomes a
Samhata Janu.
Because Tanjavur is with Samasthana.
Samasthana Sama Janu.
Janga Swastika.
Janga Swastika. Correct.
Nrtta Kannan
So the Satara sculptures give a nice combination of both. After the Harinaplutachari crossed the shanks with Samputa Abhinaya Hasta, Devi's figure shows the jump on the right side, with the left knee protruding to the right, along with the flapping of the shank close to the thigh. The hands are in Samputa. Shiva's figure is almost same as Tanjavur sculpture. The secondary hands show the course of forming Samputa. The main hands are hanging down, showing the end of the action. This is used for depicting flattery by inferior men. That is the uses given for this.
Yes, it's a very beautiful observation. That is what Abhinav Gupta says. Etat adhama prakirtanad upasarpanadi vishaye. Upasarpana means going for undue favors. Upasarpana means craving for favors by going here and there. That is what Upasarpana means, Naichanusandhana.
I don't have to show, you have yourself shown. How very natural it is.
Loka. In Kannada, we say, Kai ho scold bandru. Rubbing the hands, please do some favor for me like that.
Very theatrical, but it is Laukika also, Lokadharmi.
And doing for Laukika use.
Only the chari becomes Natidharmi, but hands become very Lokadharmi.
We say Kaiya Pisirdu.
Kaiya Pishirdu. We say that in Tamil also, Kaiya Pishirdu.
Not knowing what to say.
Please do something.
Please do something for me. For that time.
So, very beautiful and natural way of using Lokadharmi for Natyadharmi. Now, Suchi, I think.
76th Karana. Suchi.
Suchi is one more acrobatic
Kunchitam padamutshitya puryad agrasthitam bhuvi prayogavashagau hastau sa Suchi parikirtita. Abhinav Gupta has agratasthithamiti. 2-word commentary, that's all.
Here the Kumbakonam figure gives, because of the Kumbakonam sculpture, we have two interpretations. The translation is, when a Kunchita foot is raised and thrown and put forward, along with the hands progressing and regressing, it is called Suchi. Abhinav Gupta just indicates the Suchi Chari alone.
Yes.
Seeing the sculptures, we have the Tanjavur and Chidambaram figures in Mandala Sthana. Tanjavur figure has the right as Suchi Pada. Suchi Pada. Chidambaram has both of them in that posture.
Both Agratala. If both are in Suchi, then it's like ballet.
The Chidambaram figure has the beginning and the Tanjavur has both the beginning as well as end of Rechita hands. The Kumbakonam figure has both its thighs, shank and feet spread on the ground on respective sides. It's like what we call as splits.
Samasuchi.
Samasuchi, where they are seated with both the legs spread to the side.
Very complicated.
Yes.
Modern dance and all, in filmy dances and all, it is
We
shown.
have this. This is called Samasuchi.
It
Where
is
the leg
like
is
this.
like Sama.
It's one of the
Ganesh?
Yogasanas, Hanumadasana.
Yoga.
It is like this.
Yes. Yes.
And then we have the torso rests on the left leg with the right hand holding the left foot. The other hand is on the chest. So following the Tanjavur and Chidambaram sculptures, the movement has this interpretation. We perform Suchi Chari with Rechita Hasta and bring the feet close to the other leg. So this is more graceful.
Graceful and adaptable also.
Yes. So in the Satara sculptures, Devi's figure shows the hands in Rechita with the right foot extended and landed forward in Suchi.
I have only followed the Tanjavur version.
Yes. Shiva's figure shows the next stage with the left foot in Suchi Pada in the Mandala Sthana. The main hands are hanging in Dola with the other two indicating Shaivite symbols, the deer and the Maru weapon.
But the end has to be in Mandala.
Mm-hmm.
You start there and end it in Mandala Sthana.
Because there is just
And Dola Hasta. Dola.
there is just one Nrtta Hasta involved. So Shiva shows Dola Hasta, Devi also is in that. The other two hands of Shiva is Maru and
I have
It is
given the
yes.
usual symbols of
Shiva.
Shaivite symbols I have given.
Now going to Ardha Suchi. Alapadma Shirohastah Suchi Padascha Dakshinah यत्र तत् करणं ज्ञेयम् अर्धसूचीति नामतः.
Ardhasuchi is that wherein the right foot is performing Suchi with one hand as Alapadma near the head. Abhinavagupta says that the hand can be in the region of the head.
Yes, शिरोहस्तः शिरक्षेत्रे हस्तः तच्चार्यामेव करणं येकेन अंगेन इति अर्थसूची. That's all he gives.
Here again we have two interpretations. We will see the sculptures first. Both the Tanjavur and Chidambaram figures are in Mandalasthana, suggesting the lifting of the right foot as Suchi. It's not yet lifted. In the Tanjavur figure, the four hands
in both Tanjavur and Chidambaram, the heel alone is lifted. Because it's going to be lifted.
The four hands in Tanjavur figure show that while the Suchi Pada is stretched, the right hand goes near the head as Alapadma and the left hand goes down as Nitamba. When the foot lands and the other foot is dragged near after Suchi. The raised hand, right hand and lowered left hand of Chidambaram figure also portrays the same thing.
Only mandala. There is no valana involved.
So according to Chidambaram and Tanjavur, the movement is in Mandalasthana. But the throughout. The Kumbakonam figure shows fully seated movement.
Yes.
The interpretation of Kumbakonam, Suchi has been interpreted as the extending of both the legs on the respective sides. So Ardha Suchi will be lifting it up, drop and finish with raising the knee. So this will be according to the Kumbakonam sculpture. So we have two interpretations, one seated fully, the other one in Mandalasthana.
अर्धसूची इति करणम् अर्धसूची इति करणम् सूच्यतापि च अर्धसूची इति करणम्.
In Satara we see the Mandalasthana in the Devi figure. The right hand is in Alapadma near the face with the arm in Kunchita. The left hand is in Rechita. The final stage is seen in the Shiva's figure. So in
Satara Devi does the Suchi from Mandalasthana. Is not in Mandalasthana. The foot is already stretched
as Suchi. But Shiva is like in Tanjavur.
Like Tanjavur.
Yes. Shall we proceed to?
We'll proceed to the next one.
सूचिविद्धं पादसूच्या यदा पादो द्वितीयस्तु प्रविच्यते कटिवक्षस्थितौ हस्तौ सूचिविद्धं तदुच्यते.
When a foot performs the Suchi Pada and joins the other with the hands on the waist and chest respectively, it is called Suchi Viddham. Abhinavagupta clarifies that the word pravidyate refers to the action of the Suchi Pada only. The heel of the second foot must be exposed. The hand on the waist is Pakshavanchita or Ardhachandra. The other hand is Katakamukha.
Yes, this is Dvitiya iti padah पार्श्वस्थः क्रियते इत्यर्थः. कटिस्थितः पक्षवञ्चितकः अर्धचन्द्रो वा द्वितीयः खटकामुख एव वक्षसि. चिन्ताविषये अस्य प्रयोगः. In very impulsive mood.
Yes. Here all the three figures follow of Tanjavur, Kumbakonam and Chidambaram follow only Abhinavagupta's commentary. So the right foot is Suchi with the corresponding hand on the waist. On the waist. Right leg is Suchi and right hand is also on the waist. The Tanjavur figure has the left foot as Sama, whereas the Kumbakonam and Chidambaram figures have a Mandalasthana. The Kumbakonam figure has the right foot crossed in front as Kunchita with the heel lifted up. The other foot is also well exposed. In Chidambaram, both the feet are on toes. On toes. These
And
two
one
are
is Katakamukha and the other one is on the, that is constant.
Yes.
The hand position is constant in all the sculptures.
Why such minimum movement Karanas are present?
No, this is meant for deliberation while talking, somebody is talking and you are listening. In drama, you need that. So this is, you read out the usage.
The comment. The name of the Karana impregnates the two important features of the action. The word vidham has in it both the roots, namely vid and vidh, dha, meaning to be set in an orderly way and be devoid of. The Suchi Pada is to be settled properly in this Karana, which is bereft of the Suchi Chari. So it's a static position. And the comment is, uses are for contemplation and deliberation.
Yes.
So as you said, it is intensive thinking when you don't move much. It's more of the mind which is working. So there is very minimal hand and leg movement.
Then Sthanaka would have been sufficient. Why it took the dimension of Karana? Any guess?
Because there is Sthiti and Gati. Here it's only the Sthiti. The Karana is more
Gati.
Mukhaja.
Oh.
Maybe contemplating, maybe while seated, I can either look like this or give a look as though I am contemplating or listening. So it depends on how the mind works.
And even here it is not Samasthana. We have a Suchi Pada, or we have an Agratala or a Kunchita.
That is for giving a shape to the body. You can't stand like a pillar. So there is Karana in that. There is a Sthana involved. There is a Hasta involved. There is a definite way in which you hold the right and left hands. I've added, you can keep your hand like this also. But another interesting thing is the Kataka Mukha is all turned towards one's own self.
That is Prangmukha of mind.
Prangmukha of Chaturashra. We discussed the first Nrtta Hasta Chaturashra, which is Unmukha and not Pranmukha. Every sculpture shows Unmukha. Here is the
In Satara, the right foot of the figures is in Suchi Pada Bheda with the corresponding hand on the waist. The other hand is in Kataka Mukha near the chest.
We will be going to
Apakranta.
Kritvoru Valitam Padam Apakranta Kramam Yaset Prayoga Vashagau Hasta Apakrantam Taduchyate.
After twisting the thigh as Valita, the Apakranta Chari is to be performed with suitable actions of the hands. This is called Apakranta. Abhinavagupta emphasizes that there should be a cross of the thighs with the limbs close to each other. He quotes the definition of the relevant Chari, which is Apakranta. Here the Tanjavur figure has the right thigh crossed in front of the left. But the cross is not seen in the form of a well-knit Baddhachari as specified by Abhinavagupta. Two hands are lifted up and two are bent inwards.
Out and two bent inwards. And there is a space between the 2 feet.
Ready to be lifted for Apakranta.
It's a very broad movement, Apakranta in a broad sense, very Tandava.
In Kumbakonam and Chidambaram figures, we see Mandalasthana with the right foot as Suchi Pada. The right hand is on the waist and let loose in Kumbakonam and Chidambaram figures. That is, in Kumbakonam it's on the waist, Chidambaram it's let loose. Right hand. The left is near the chest. So the practical reconstruction, that we perform the Apakranta Chari, and the Nrtta Hastas used are Keshabandha.
Abhinugupta says, Kritva Puru Valita Badham Charim Anyonya Jangha Sanyogat Kritvacha Swastikam Urubhyam Valanamityevam Bhutam Kuryat. So he mentions about the Baddha.
The movement where both the thighs are touching each other. It's tied. Swastikam Urubhyam. Here we are able to see a small difference between Abhinavagupta's commentary and the Tanjavur version. In Tanjavur version,
it's going on.
it is the pace is more
Faster.
It's and the space between the legs denotes that it's a very forceful action, whereas Abhinavagupta's version makes it very sober, and it's not Uddhata Prayoga, it is Sukumara Prayoga according to Abhinavagupta's commentary. It is more Uddhata in Tanjavur.
Moreover, the name states Apakranta.
Yes.
So it is only logical that we do Apakrantachari rather than Baddhachari.
Yes.
Because even in Apakranta you have Uru, Valana and Udvartana.
Yes, Gayatri, but we don't know what other commentary was there even for the Charis. First of all, we don't have the commentary of Abhinavagupta for Charis at all. We have lost that entire chapters. So, what was there before Abhinavagupta must have been followed by Tanjavur, which is also very relevant. And there was not a big gap in time, but there was a gap in space. Abhinavagupta was writing in Kashmir, and Tanjore sculptures were born in Tanjavur at the same time. What was followed by Tanjavur is still not known.
Then, why didn't you incorporated Baddhachari as another alternative here?
There was no need, because already if you do Apakranta, if you want to repeat it on the other side, you have to do it only through Baddha. You do Apakranta, just do the Chari, and you need the Baddha. See, if Baddha is performed without lifting, if you perform the Baddha only, without
just Baddha.
Half of Apakranta.
Yes, exactly.
Without lifting the leg.
Apakranta, Baddha is Bhumichari.
Yes,
Apakranta is the Akashachari version of Baddha.
Both involve.
Apakranta takes its root in Baddha.
In both we have Valana, Udvartana.
Yes.
It is both Valana and Udvartana is there.
The turn of the thigh.
Baddha, the Udvartana will be on the floor itself.
This is on the
air.
You lift it and turn.
Wonderful, wonderful interpretation.
Thank you.
So convincing.
Avakrantam chetam protam Avakrantam chetam protam Avakrantam chetam protam.
We'll see the Satara sculptures. Devi's figure demonstrates the right knee being lifted on the right side with the shank flapped in. The other knee is also bent with the foot in Parshva. The arms are bent in Kunchita with upturned palms and fingers pointing towards the respective sides. Shiva's figure shows the right foot placed slightly in front with both the feet in Parshva. The knees are also bent as for Mandala. The secondary hands are extended a little more than those of Devi's. The next stage is shown through the main hands, which are lowered with the fingers pointing inwards and palms facing down. These show the course of the Nitamba Hasta. The two figures show the course of the Apakrantachari. In Prambanan, the third figure shows the action which is seen in the Satara Devi sculpture. But again we see the reverse, we see it on the left leg. The first figure in Prambanan is missing. The left forearm of the second sculpture in Prambanan is also missing. The second figure shows the landing of the right foot as swastika in front after performing the action with the right foot. So the animation would be Tanjavur, Satara Devi, Prambanan second sculpture, Kumbakonam, Chidambaram and Satara Shiva, and the continuation on the left side we see it on the third figure of Brahmanan. So when we put all these sculptures together, we have the entire Karana.
Now we have the Mayura Lilitam, one of the most beautiful Karanas. Vrishchikam charanam kritva rechitaucha tatha karo tatha trikam vivrittancha Mayura Lilitam bhavet.
After assuming the Vrishchika foot, the hands are to be rechita with the turning of the sacrum. This is Mayura Lalitam. Abhinavagupta says that the turning must be along with the bending of the thigh in Vrishchika form. The Brahmari involves the Atikranta Chari.
Yes, Abhinavagupta says Vrishchikam pado vidhaya rechito hamsapakshau drutabhramau karo kritva padam tameva vurudeshe nikuncha brahmarikam charyam kuryaditi Mayura Nrttanukari Mayura Lilitam.
We'll see the sculptures first. The Tanjavur figure shows the right foot lifted as Vrishchika. The two hands are Rechita. The other two are bent inwards to show the course. And then up. The torso is turned on the right. The Chidambaram figure has the left leg as Vrishchika with the torso turned on the right along with Rechita Hastas. The Kumbakonam figure, which has a clear label, is in the lying posture. It is lying on its abdomen. The two legs are lifted slightly backwards after lying down. So this is what is seen in the Kumbakonam sculpture. So when we take all these, this is the Kumbakonam interpretation. The other two interpretations will be performing Atikranta Chari with Hastas, Rechita Hasta, and turning the sacrum. So this is one interpretation. The other would be performing Atikranta Chari and turning the sacrum with the turn of the leg. So we have
a lot of Rechakas have to be added to it.
The first one you do, and turning the thorax, turning the upper part of the body through the Trikavalanam is something I have seen in the peacocks. That's how I got this idea. Particularly when they open out their feathers, you should see how they move. They move like this.
Yes.
It's a total movement. Slowly they move, and they move half rotation they have. It is not a full rotation. So I followed this.
So the Rechita
noting it from the peacock.
Rechita hands are supposed to be the feathers.
Of course.
This is for the opened out feathers.
So we move with that.
And with the little movement of the Griva Rechaka, not this.
Vertical.
Prakampitam.
Add that Rechaka, then turn, you will get the peacock's turning.
And sometimes you also add Bhuja Rechita.
Yeah, Bhuja.
To show the opening.
To show the opening. To show the opening.
Of the plumes.
Yes.
Just the neck movement alone can show peacock.
Certainly.
Satara, through the performance of the Atikranta Chari, the second leg becomes Vrishchika as seen in Devi's figure. The sacrum is returned with the entire torso twisted which we see in the Shiva's figure.
Another very important thing, the Kumbakonam sculpture was a problem.
Yes.
Now both the legs are lifted. So I was wondering how to relate it. But there is a clear label. That was my problem. The inscription says Mayur Lalitam. I did not identify, but the inscription gives the description of the sculpture as Mayur Lalitam. So I was wondering where and how I solved this problem of identification. I found a painting from Tibet where both the legs are lifted, and then I thought Vrishchikam Charanam Kritva. Suppose you make it Vrishchikam Charanau Kritva.
Yes.
If there was another reading like that, that means both the legs have to be up.
That can be done only if you
Only
lie
if
down.
you lie down you can do that. So
Yes.
there must have been another reading like this, and that reading has been followed by the Kumbakonam sculpture.
Very likely, even according to the metrical rules also, Charanam Charana Vrishchikam Charanam Kritva, Vrishchikam Charanam Kritva, or Vrishchikau Charanam.
It doesn't change the
No
chandas.
way it will change. And even small variation, Vrishchikam Charanam Charanau.
It changed
One
the
small
whole shape.
difference.
It changes the entire shape.
And even it's so unique and astonishing to know, if such charis have to be done where both the legs have to be lifted up, means one has to lie down on the abdomen.
only.
There is no other way it can be done. So Kumbakonam sculptor must have followed some other recension where this dual form of Vrishchika is mentioned. Of course, it portrays the peacock.
Yes.
This is very often seen in the Thai dances. This movement, the standing movement.
Yes, that is
Again,
very much.
it is not in Kunchita, the pada is Anchita.
Anchita. Very much. Almost their identity. It has become their identity.
I remember in Thailand it is called Mayuret. We all know that 80% of
Thai language.
Thai
Sanskrit.
language or Cambodian language is only Sanskrit.
And since the age of Guptas, they had lot of cultural connections. All the eastern coast of India, starting from your Kaveri Pattanam and then Nagapattanam and then up till Tambraparani, Tambralipti, all the ways, the course of the coast, it had lot of cultural and mercantile connections. It's a wonderful thing. It's very gratifying to remember even the finest of the Sanskrit inscriptions, which contain almost more than 300 verses in chaste classical Sanskrit, are present in those lands, not in India. The longest Sanskrit inscription is there.